Hey there! I finally got a chance to sit down and do this major mid-year setup. I chose to use this blush pink notebook from Leuchtturm for bullet journal because first, I had already been waiting a year and a half to use it, and second, it will match the palette of my new studio, which is the main thing in my life right now. By the way, I hope that my studio would be ready for June, but it will most likely be done for July, or I hope so. And that's just another reason to match my mid-year setup and notebook with my new studio. This notebook was tailored by Ryder Carroll himself, the creator of the bullet journal method, to use it as a bullet journal. I will be making a first impressions video on it with all the details. So far I can tell you that I loved using gouache and inks on it. But first things first, I am adding my name to the first page. I usually like to keep this simple because the party will start on the cover page, as you will see. I usually make a key, but this particular journal already has the original key from the method, and it is actually the one I always use. So this time I will skip this step. I struggled a little bit to come up with a theme, but then the song Home to You by Sigrid came up in my playlist. It's from the soundtrack of the movie The Aeronauts. Set in 1862, it tells the story of daredevil pilot Amelia Wren teaming up with pioneering meteorologist James Gouache. They wanted to advance human knowledge of the weather and fly higher than anyone in history. The movie is filled with beautiful scenes of old London town and breathtaking aerial views of England, as well as of the clouds, the sky, and a glimpse of the stars. The rich in design hot air balloon is the star of the movie, of course, and there are many inspirational quotes that I wrote down to use throughout the setup, all about dreams that became plans, that then became reality. The first quote I use, which was my favorite, is "Look up, the sky is open." It is actually found at the movie end, and to me, it sums up the motivation behind all that the characters went through. It was the fuel that kept them going. From the mystery of the sky, the curiosity of finding out what that blue bubble was made of, to the realization of having no limits. They got to where they could right then, but realized that there was more. The sky was not the limit. There was always more. So there was no better theme to go with this mid-year, because starting a new journal feels like a new beginning. Having my new studio will be a new beginning too, and I am more than excited to start this new chapter in my life and get back on track where I was 3 years ago before I moved cities. And now I will have a brand new space to let my creativity take off. But now let's talk about moving journals. Just like last year, I sat down to see which spreads from the previous journal I would take with me and which new ones I would add. I always have to have a year at a glance spread. I like having a visual of the whole year. And this time around, I took advantage of the fact that this notebook has 4 pages for the index and I only used 2. So I made a 2-page spread for the calendar and made the best of it by painting a view of the clouds, which opened a passage for the tiny balloon and into the vastness of space. In the movie, Amelia says, "Who knows, we may reach the moon and bring back stardust." I just love this poetic way of saying that nothing is impossible, and especially with the journey that they were on, the expectations and the dreams kept them going, which is pretty much how we feel like when looking at a year that lies ahead of us. For me, it's half a year, but I hope that it is way better than the first half. My expectations are high, so I am celebrating the beauty of new beginnings with this theme, hoping that I will get to achieve the goals I had set up for 2022 back when the year began. I discovered this finger technique for the clouds. It smooths the pigment out and gives them that cloudy texture that I was aiming for. It gets a bit messy, but I love the end result. And looking at it in the screen, it almost makes it look like the clouds are coming out from my fingers, which I think is really cool. I previously used it with the ink, but here I am using the metallic watercolor that I love so much. And just look at it. It makes it look so dreamy and special that all the mess is definitely worth it. I always tell the story of how I thought that the index was useless back when I started bullet journaling. But now I know better. I can't stress enough the need to set one, especially when you add lots of collections or memories. Your future self will thank you for dedicating some pages to the ever so handy index. Here you see me setting all of these washi tapes up, and I was really aiming to use them, but I ended up using them only in these 2 pages. The truth is that I got so immersed in painting that the richness of the designs I ended up doing deserve to have a spotlight on their own. So I will use one more washi tape for the future look, but then all you will see is 2 shades of ink and the rose gold watercolor. In Ryder Carroll's words, the future log is a time machine that allows you to glimpse the life you are working towards. It's a collection where you can store tasks and events that fall outside the current month. It provides an overview of your commitments over time and can help you stay mindful of what you allow into your life. And just like last year, I am adding the last 6 months of 2022 and the first 6 of 2023. This gives me space to log any events that might come up for next year. If you're still watching by now, I want to first thank you for not skipping it, because I really appreciate the fact that you enjoy watching the full length. And second, I want to remind you that I am giving back to those who, like you, support my art and are here for all the content. You might know that I have a special giveaway undercover, and I talk about it in the middle of some of my videos, so that only those who take the time to watch will benefit from this. If you don't already know, I am setting up a full 2023 journal for one of you, and I will have a special preview of how it is looking somewhere in my July setup, which is coming next. So please stay tuned for that. Back in 2021, my routines page was more of a doodly and artsy portrait of fun self-care habits, and now it has become a to-do list with reminders of what supplements and treatments I need to have in order to function. So this time around, I decided to frame it with a day and night landscape, which I will fill with all my prescriptions and homemade remedies that keep my engines going. So yes, this has definitely become a vital spread in my bullet journal, and I refer to it every single day. And now on to a more relaxed spread. I have been doing this since the second half of 2021. My happy place is where I draw all the activities that would make up for an ideal day. It's like a ready-made plan for those days that you realize you can do anything you want. As the pandemic reshapes, there are many more things to add, so stay tuned to see how this spread will look with the new ideas and plans that I have in mind. The go back and the waiting for spreads have been with me since the beginning, and they are pretty much self-explanatory. I will only say that wherever you live, I suggest that you have an emergency backpack with you, because you never know when you might need it, and trust me, you will be grateful to have one. And just in case you don't know, the waiting for spread is to keep track of all the orders and packages that I am expecting, so that I can check them off when they arrive or contact the brands in case they don't. I am trying the when did I last spread one more time. I keep on needing one, and this time I intend to make a conscious effort to use it so that I won't keep on forgetting to do the important things that are repetitive throughout the year. The final spread is a master to-do list, which is like a mental inventory of all the things that I want to get done. I guess it could count as a goal or intention spread, where I especially want to take note of the random ideas and projects that sometimes pop in my mind, but I forget to do them because I don't write them down. For this final artwork, I was inspired by a scene in the movie where they discover that above the area where the birds fly, there's a current that insects take advantage of. So they see millions of butterflies migrating, and it is just a stunning view. A lovely image of the fact that sometimes we don't see the effort it takes for some to get where they are. So always honor everyone's achievements, great or small. Because, like this final quote says, together we have brought the stars closer. And that's a wrap. This is the final flip through of the mid-year setup that has now inspired me to do so much more. After a first half of a year that went terribly wrong, I have all I needed to get back on track and aim for the stars, remembering that the sky is not the limit. There's always more. Or like Amelia puts it, surely the sky lies open. Let us go that way. I hope you enjoyed this setup as much as I did. Subscribe for more journaling content, and as usual, thank you so much for watching.